The struggle is real, and that struggle is that physical shelf space is shrinking, yet the competition to get on those shelves is increasing. You want in, but you're just starting up and you don't have mounds of data to support your sales story to the retailer. The retailer, and more importantly, the buyer at the retailer, doesn't want to take a bunch of risk in this current environment. And to be completely honest, they don't have to take many risks because there's so many substitutes that are in the market. So how do you stand out and break into that retailer like the Kool-Aid man?
I can't wait to get a drink. Why wait? Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah, crash bang.
I don't know why the Kool-Aid man always makes me laugh, but hopefully you guys got a little bit of a nostalgic feel from a commercial long ago. So I covered this topic about 7 months ago in a little bit of a different way. I'll make sure I pop up something for you guys here to watch that video if you guys are interested. But the point of this video here, I wanted to take a little bit more of like actionable tactic route here, give you guys a little sense of kind of what I mean when I'm talking about building up that sales story when you don't have a bunch of data, just kind of how do you build that, and what is the process both from the physical side, like physical retailer. That's kind of where I want to focus most of this video at, but I will touch a little bit on the end about the digital side, just kind of things that you could do as well if your CPG brand sales strategy is not towards physical retail, at least in this first phase. So this idea of building like a successful sales story. And I'm not necessarily saying sales story in the sense of like, how do you do your presentation? How do you tell this idea of the hero, the problem, and the solution, and all these different things that you can kind of form this presentation style? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more about the sales story, how well your product or your brand is selling, and that data story that will help retailers be a little less worried about taking on a new startup because there is some initial kind of traction or sales velocity that goes with it. So I mentioned before, the problem here is that you don't have a lot of data, especially as a startup. You don't have mounds of data that are available to you. Talking more from like personal inside the brand data, but you also don't really have a lot of access to syndicated market data. You don't have a lot, that stuff is extremely expensive. A lot of that also, like data in general, and you guys hear me throw that around a lot. You hear me throw data around a lot. It's honestly looking in the rearview mirror. So I use a lot of data to pull some insights from to apply for trends and things in the future, because the type of work that I'm doing is more geared towards future things, or to take the information that's available presently and some of the indicators and things that are happening presently or recent periods that are measured, but applying it in a way that's useful in the future. So as I said, there's kind of two areas of data that you as a startup are interested to make sure that you can tell the sales story. One is very much internal, like customer feedback data, because you want that customer feedback data to kind of flesh out a lot of the different things that you have, especially in your startup. If you are launching a minimum viable product and something that you know is going to be a living, breathing thing and it's going to change through some different iterations, this customer feedback data is valuable to you in the early stages, and it will be throughout the history of your business. And what you're trying to get here is like an immediate perception from customers. Maybe when you're at a local event, maybe you're at a farmer's market, you're at a gym, you're at anywhere where you can kind of get into for cheap or little cost as possible, be able to sample and also be able to sell. That's kind of your perfect environment. This is like even before you're getting into a physical retailer. You're utilizing the resources you have locally to be able to give yourself some customer perception points on branding, your sales pitch, all those types of things. If your consumables, taste, and then in some senses of consumables, food and different things, you might have a textural element that you also want to get some feedback on. And then price, mentioned you want to be able to sell that item. If you're just sampling and you're just getting feedback surveys from products that aren't being purchased, you're only getting half the story. You need to understand price and what price people are willing to pay. So when you are offering that price, when you are at these events and you're getting some pushback in terms of, hey, I think this is too high, or oh, I would have paid way more. Take a lot of that feedback and then use it for the next event. And then secondly, like internal sales data. What you're trying to get here in terms of data is that you want to see all those customer feedback points that I was talking about based around whatever iteration you are in any of those kind of factors, be it you changed the taste, or you changed your sales pitch, or you changed your price, or any of those when you're at a local event. You need to be able to show that those things are consistently making your sell-through, your units sold per item is increasing, some of that sales velocity numbers that you can show that there is progression and there's improvement. And after you get comfort level when you are at some of these local events, be it a farmer's market, be it at a gym, a local event that's applicable to your product, your CPG product category, any of those types of things, when you're starting to get some really good sales data, you're getting a lot of momentum on your sales velocity, what you then want to do is then approach a very small retailer. That's, to me, the next step. So if you, depending on what product category, CPG product category you are in, that could be a small independent grocer, that could be a small convenience, locally owned convenience store, that could be a local supplement, mom and pop supplement shop. You are kind of going at this as the smallest level possible. You're using some of that sales data, that velocity, those numbers that you pulled from your own analog, events and different things that you're getting feedback from. You're using that to tell your story. You have something to pull from. You have some confidence that you can give to the retailer and say, hey, they've shown that they can do this, and let's give them a shot. So when you get that shot, then you're basically rinse and repeat in a way. You are getting in there, you're doing demos, you're doing the same thing at a much kind of stronger level. More than likely going to have a bigger level of foot traffic, more feedback. So you want to, attack that small opportunity the same way that you did before, and try to get some of that sales velocity, sales growth, some of that data again that gives you the confidence then to go to the next step, which may be a regional grocer, or maybe a chain of a couple dozen C-stores or supplement stores or any of those types of things. Again, you're leveraging some of that success, some of those winning habits that you showed before, to give confidence to that retailer that they know, hey, if I put this on my shelf, I have a pretty good feeling that they're going to be able to get sell-through off of my shelves, and this is going to be a successful partnership. And that just kind of rinses and repeats, keeps going until you get up to the biggest possible. You have to have patience. You have to understand there's steps to this game. You can't move from small mom and pop retailer up to getting in nationwide at Walmart. Though there are some cases that happens. There's just so many different challenges that would come if you did miss a lot of those steps. So I suggest kind of taking more of the patience route and kind of building, leveraging some of that previous success and going bigger and stronger each time. So I mentioned kind of shifting the end of this video towards more of the digital side. I kind of want to touch on this because there is a very large subsection of brands now that are just bypassing anything analog at the beginning. They're going straight digital. That's attractive for a lot of entrepreneurs now, depending on their skill sets. I think for the main reason, there's really no gatekeepers on the digital retail side. So you can either jump on Amazon with a few clicks of your mouse, or you can start your own retail store, honestly, by just firing up Shopify, and again, a few clicks, you can kind of get things started and get product for sale. And then depending on how advanced that CPG brand is, digital provides like a honeypot of A/B tests. But regardless of the the advantages or challenges, this is becoming another data point that physical retailers are looking for. They are looking for success digitally with some brands. I think what it shows, at least from an analog physical retail sense, if you could sell on digital, and you could sell very well on digital, it tells them, one, you're able to clearly define your brand story for consumers. If you have the sales velocity and the sales growth that goes with it, it shows that you were successful doing that, but it also shows that you were able to drive traffic yourself towards some of those digital listings, because you don't have the natural foot traffic that comes into a physical store. You had to create that traffic yourself, or divert traffic that's already kind of going to those sites. But like I said, analog, digital, you can perform and get through this idea of like minimum viable products, getting a bunch of iterations to get to the point where it's a perfect product or the best product possible. You could do that both analog, digitally. There's ways to do that on both sides of the spectrum. And just one final point on the digital channel side of this is that social media, the importance of social media is becoming more apparent to me. The meetings that I've been in and the conversations I've had with a lot of the buyers and tons of different channels has proven to me that they ask about social metrics. They ask about just the ability to create engagement, create flow towards a new partnership in a physical retailer. They want to know that you have some pull off of your customers and you have the ability to create traffic with some of your organic social media, your paid social media, if you have a really good understanding of that, or if you have some ability to shareable media tactics or some media tactics that you have to expand your reach through influencers. These are conversations that are happening more often than I remember over years prior. So make sure you understand that that is important. That is something that is going to continuously be important because these retailers want to know that you're taking care of the things that you can own, the things that you can control, because if you're not handling those things, you're not taking care of your own house, they're a little less confident that you're going to be able to take care of their house. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help support me, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button on this video. If this is the first time you've been introduced to my videos, would love for you guys to be a part of my community by subscribing to my channel. I upload several videos just like this weekly, and if you guys want to connect further outside of this platform, I do include all of my social media links down below. I just want to thank you guys again for your time. Hopefully I gave you some value in return, and we'll see you guys on the next video.